time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, he's back from the dead. Your show. Putting it on the map, yeah. Saskatoon. Right next to New York. New York. Yeah, what show, yeah. Your show. What time is it? Your show. Yeah, time to talk some shit, yeah. Your show.
You've tuned in, yeah?
Yeah, von Maggie. Bark, bark, wolf, wolf, who wants a treat, yeah? Keep listening.
Hello and welcome in to the Thursday edition of Your Show. I am still your very busty host, Gary, still very overweight, not proud of it, but working through it. And I just had to get that out there. This is Your Show, the only live 4 to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday show originating on YouTube, also originating out of Saskatoon. And we're so proud to say that. Maybe even Saskatchewan. We're not really sure. But it's called scheduled viewing, and it's the reason why we all used to gather around the TV way back in the day for TGIF and all the other amazing shows and activities that we grew up on and loving. And it's just such a cool thing to be able to say that, no, we're not a YouTube channel. We're a TV network that's just on the internet. I just think that's so amazing. Also, we like to make up categories and say we're number one in this category to kick off shows because it's fun. Like today, we are the number one show on YouTube right now with Super Smash Bros. Audio playing in the background. YouTube, don't strike us. We're number one. We're number one. The real reason why people come around these parts is because we have the greatest camera in the history of the universe. That camera is the Maggie Cam. And today she's got a good one for us. Let's check this out. Look at that. Nailed her spot like the beautiful princess she is. A shout out to Jake the Snake Plant as well. We don't talk about him enough over there, as he's got some CCO colors with his stickers, which is very cool. Jake the Snake, though, remember we let him talk once and we had to censor him? He's a real mean guy, so he doesn't get to talk anymore. But the Maggie Cam talks all sorts of love languages because she's just such an amazing puppy, just like her boyfriend, Leroy, who is the official greeter over at Pet Planet on 8th Street. He's got a bed set up right beside the door. When you walk in, he will say hello to you. Then he'll walk you up to the till where you say hi to Mike or Rochelle, and then you begin the greatest shopping experience in a pet store that you will ever have. Not only that, they also have the best cleaning station on planet Earth. We're talking the full harness, the soap, the dryer, everything right there for you to get your pet nice and clean and ready to do whatever it is you guys got to do. All of that. Plus, you go there after hours or on the weekends, they're still open. Kirsten, Shar, and Chris will take care of you at that time. So there's so many opportunities for you to take advantage of the amazingness that is Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocer, as Maggie slowly drifts off to Puppy Sleepy Town. I'm pretty sure she counts down the minutes, too. Like, she's probably saying, all right, about 55 more minutes before I get to eat. That's pretty exciting. It'll happen soon. Thursdays around here, we have traditions. One of those traditions, probably the biggest one, is we get to check in with one of our favorite dudes, a guy we love so much, and a guy who we haven't got to check in over the last couple of weeks because basically it was holidays. No one knew where they were going or what they were doing, and so with that in mind, we are so excited for this return right here. We got Dragon on the ones and twos today, and we're running around. Are we okay to run it? No? We're going to wait a minute? Okay. And when I'm talking about live, this is the beauty of live, and this is why nobody does it. Most people, if you have something not working in the booth, they say, oh my God, and then everything goes, and then people get in trouble. Not around here, man. We embrace the realness of making mistakes, just like in real life. And again, it's one of the many reasons why we all love and appreciate this place so damn much, because it's magical. It allows people to chase dreams without any repercussions, and that's so rare in this world that we live in. Are you guys just looking at pictures of, like, what, boobies in there or something? What's happening? Okay. You want me to intro it? Okay, I'm going to try to do this, though, because how many times I always double up on the intro. I say exactly what I say when we get into it. So now I'm going to do it like this. I wonder who's coming up on this previously recorded segment. It's been way too long since this guy has been in this studio. You know when he's here. It's Thursday. He is Matt Young from CTV.
There you
Welcome
go.
back, brother.
Hey, good to be back. Good to be here after the holidays.
Yes.
Exciting again.
How did the holidays go?
You know what? They went really, really well. I had my dad come down and visit for a little while.
Nice.
Played a lot of video games. The weather actually wasn't too bad over Christmas.
That's crazy.
I mean, it was like -5, -6 for most of the time.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't like that, like -30 unbearable
freeze,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, that we didn't need. So my holidays were pretty good. How about yourself?
Same thing, man. Actually, it was great because I was working the whole time.
Oh, I see.
that was a good thing.
Work is when you love your work. It's not
That's it.
work,
And
right?
we started doing this audiobook recording. And
right
it's
on.
Like it's taken all my time, and I just love it so much.
Awesome.
Lots of that editing,
Awesome.
lots of that stuff that we all know goes into it, but
But it's fun.
The
It's
final- exactly.
you get to get your artistic, creative side kind of
that's
comes
it.
out. So
and
that's
show another
cool.
side of this incredible studio that we got, which I
Exactly.
absolutely love.
It's
when
getting bigger, everybody. It is getting bigger.
growing. So when this guy comes by, that means we're talking video games. I know you know him
Yeah.
from all the other stuff. He's a very famous dude, but his hobby is video games. I don't mean just playing them. I mean so much more. So we take this time to sort of show that off a little bit and let everyone know all the options that are out there for you. in the gaming
Creating
world.
video games,
Yes.
modding video games, and then
Really
just
cool
finding
stuff.
out stuff about video games. And I like to pass on my knowledge about video games to other people. And the nice thing is we're right here in Saskatoon, and there's lots of great video game guys and a video game community in Saskatoon. So I mean, you know what? Yeah, obviously on the news, you know, you have to you have that composed, authoritative delivery that you have because you want to make sure you deliver the news appropriately. But us news guys like to have lots of fun. You know
That's
what I mean?
love about this. As a former news guy, I was in the
Yeah.
newsroom for 13 years. I can tell
Yeah.
you are so right. It's so hard for you to express yourself in that sort of medium. So when you get out of
Yeah.
it, you can be the true you. It's awesome.
You can like rip open the box.
That's
so,
right.
So I tweeted out something. If you follow me on Twitter, I'm at YoungCTV, and please do. I like to do stuff that I like to tweet out video game stuff that I once in a while will do, like modding and things like that.
Really cool.
But I found something really cool, which I didn't know, and I think a lot of people wouldn't know this. For anybody who plays golf video games, now you love the NES golf
Open,
game,
yeah,
which I've
yeah.
actually been playing. We're gonna have to
So
probably
good.
play each other
Hell
sometime.
yeah, I'm ready. I love it.
But one thing, and we're going to do a little thing on this. We're going to talk a little bit about video game emulators.
Nice.
And there's all kinds of different video game emulators that you can get because, of course, sometimes finding a console like a Nintendo 64 is not that easy.
Yep.
And when I was looking at video game emulators and downloading a bunch of them and playing them, I discovered something that I didn't know before about a golf game that I really like to play. And probably if you had a Nintendo 64, you might remember this. So I'm going to open it up. So first of all, there's an emulator that you can get. Maybe we'll go into more detail about some of this next week called Project 64. It's an N64 emulator, and it allows you to play emulated N64 games on a laptop. You download the emulator. It's a very easy program, and I'll go through the steps of doing that maybe on next week's show. But once you download it, you can go on the internet and download ROMs. Now, I mean, be careful about this. I don't think Nintendo really likes people doing that, but it's
can see that.
everybody. I mean, they've been on the internet for years, and a lot of people do that. So. So anyways, so I downloaded Project 64 and I went and I opened up, of course, one of the games that I used to play, and some people might remember this. It was quite popular at the time. It was called, and you can see it on the screen behind us.
64.
This is Wily Golf True Golf Classics, right?
Love that.
And
Love this.
T&E Soft. I just love that beginning.
Man, I love all those different openings. Hey,
The
second
little
you hear them, they
jingles,
take
you know what I
back.
mean?
Yeah,
You
so cool.
you know exactly what game you're playing.
Sega.
Sega.
Yeah, I'm with ya.
Yeah, exactly.
I am with
So,
Look at this. Honolulu.
so this was a game that came out, and I think it was in 1998. And I used to play it all the time, and it was a golf game, and it's kind of an arcadey style golf game, right?
Yeah.
So you can
golf classics.
you go and you're playing at a wildlife golf course in Hawaii.
See,
I
honestly, truly believe that I've been to this golf course before.
Now,
There's a hotel there called the Grand Wailea, like Wailea or Wailea.
you might have played there.
You
might have actually been there.
I've seen it with my
Oh,
own
okay,
eyes. But
okay,
I think
okay.
green fees were like,
Oh,
per person, yeah.
not cheap.
yeah, like that
Yeah.
hotel is like world renowned, and it's like a
Yeah.
one-night stay there was like $4,000, like American. Like,
Well,
this
there you
place
go.
is
There you go.
majestic. Yeah.
So this is why I like golf for Nintendo 64, and it was a really fun game to play back in the day,
Look at
and
those graphics.
and it was cool.
Love this.
You know what? This was kind of Nintendo 64 and PlayStation were sort of the first 3D
Yeah, to
forays
give you
into
that-
golfing, right?
Absolutely. And this, like, this is Honolulu. Like, they got diamond heads. in the
Yeah,
background
oh,
there,
they
like, it's
do.
all
They
right
do.
there.
This is a
Yeah.
huge thing. So, and I'm not going to play a full hole here because we'd be here forever. Because
Good golf. You, man.
yeah. Well, or maybe I'm setting it up and I'll go on NES Golf and beat you in one round. Who knows?
Well, hey, we got that Twitch stream. We're getting ready for all that stuff.
So it's what will happen is a player will come up and you can and it's kind of an arcade style game. Whoops. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up another ROM because what I discovered is, as you know, there are some games that are only released in Japan.
Yes. That was a huge problem for a lot of us.
Nintendo oftentimes, a lot of companies do this. They'll release certain games only in Japan.
And they do that because they're not sure that the other side of the world will like it as much as
they do there.
So they sort
Or
of decide that.
exactly. And sometimes they release it in Japan first, and maybe the game doesn't do as well. So it's like, well, you know what? Obviously, maybe it's not that popular, so we're not going to release it in North America or the UK. Sometimes they'll release it in the UK and release it years later in North America. But there are a lot of really good Japan exclusive games,
Yes.
and some of them are really good. Well, I discovered something really interesting. I discovered there's actually an Augusta National golf game
Come on.
exactly the same. It's a virtual clone. Augusta National's where the Masters golf tournament is played
One
in
of the most
Augusta,
beautiful
Georgia.
courses
Exactly.
on Earth.
Exactly. And there was an N60 made by the same company, but it was only released in Japan. And I never knew that. So when I found it, I'm like, I got to play this. So of course, I downloaded the ROM,
Yep.
and we've got it right here, and we're gonna show people, because a lot of people probably don't know that this game
It's the same old
exists.
thing again, yeah.
There's the same thing, right? And I'm gonna see if I can full screen this there. And what we'll do is we'll play this, because I just found it so interesting that why would an Augusta National golf game not be released in
Where
North
Augusta is,
America?
yeah, in
Because that's
Georgia.
where Augusta National Golf Course is. It's actually located in the United States.
Yeah.
So this game was only released in Japan. A lot of people don't know that it exists. I never knew that it existed, and I play a lot of Nintendo 64. So you'll notice that the screen is almost exactly the same, right? And of course you can you press start, and the menu options will be almost the same. They'll look the same. The music is going to be a little bit different.
I like this tune.
But
This
it's
is very
it's
soothing.
almost virtually this. It is kind of neat.
Yeah, it's like elevator music.
It's by the way, I think video game music makes great elevator
Oh,
music.
the best. And not just elevator, anywhere. I love game music.
Exactly. So now you'll notice that some of the settings, the menus there are in Japan or in Japanese, I guess. But once we start playing, it'll be the exact same thing. But it's the Masters Augusta National Golf Course. So
One of the most famous courses on Earth.
on Nintendo 64.
This is it.
Now, so I started playing this. Now, I realize why I'm not on the professional golf tour. That's why I'm playing. But you can see it's Masters Tournament Golf. So this game was released only in Japan, and yeah, like I just found it that it's kind of neat.
So it's hidden gems, right?
So it's hidden gems. So there's a lot of really cool hidden gems out there that now I'll maybe try a
Yeah, I wanna
swinger
see a
here.
shot. Let's see a
All
shot
right, let's
here.
see let's see what old Matty can do.
It's like
There
that
we
old
go.
Mortal Kombat type of
Exactly.
thing, eh?
Here we go. Okay. I don't know how good I'm gonna be, but okay.
That's a soft one.
All right, you got to
good.
try and
I
get
like
it in the
this.
middle. There
Oh,
you
yeah.
go. There you go. Hey, now. How far do we go?
flat.
That's right.
You gotta be like
And
the announcers.
the announcers.
That low voice. Great shot.
Beautiful
Right down the
ball.
line.
Yeah.
278 yards. Well done.
I think he did a fantastic job. Sets himself for a nice approach. So there you go. So for those of you that are wondering that still have a Nintendo 64, there is a Masters golf tournament game available Now it's only a Japan game, so the cartridge which you can buy.
I bet you that goes for a pretty penny. Hey?
Well,
A
no,
lot
it's
of times.
it's not that much. It's only about, I thought it for about $80 or $90.
For
but-
a game that wasn't released here.
For a
that's
game
pretty
that,
damn cool, yeah.
but what's really now, if you order it here, it won't fit in your Nintendo 64
yeah,
because
yeah.
they were locked, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna show you a little trick in the next few weeks
Oh, okay.
to get around that. That's universally used,
Yes.
so no one's gonna be necessarily surprised by it. But yeah, now what I also wanted to tell people is that there are other games that are released in Japan. You ever heard of SimCity 2000? Do you remember SimCity 2000?
I remember SimCity.
Okay.
I don't know about 2000.
SimCity was Super Nintendo?
Yes.
Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
So Super Nintendo also had a game called SimCity 2000.
I wouldn't know.
There you go. That was also released on Nintendo 64, but only in Japan. Why is Japan getting all the good games? Come on, bring some of those games over here, because I would love to play them.
Let's start sharing those.
So anyway, so I just thought this was kind of neat. I thought it was kind of cool, and you know what? I thought a nice little golf to warm people up a little bit.
Great.
So over the next few weeks, though, we're going to show you some things like video game emulators, which ones to download, how to download them. They're usually pretty easy, and we'll do it like right here, like we always do, because I like to show people exactly how things work.
That's what I love about this setup is that you got a big giant screen showing off what we're talking
Exactly,
about.
exactly. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit about how if you want to get some games from Japan and play them on your N64, how you can do that. There's a kind of a little workaround that you can use to get around what region locking was like back 25, 30 years ago. And so we're going to show you that. And of course, now I mentioned, I think just before Christmas, I was trying to do a video game mod to involve the Saskatoon Berries.
Yes.
So I'm gonna continue working on that over the next few weeks. You'll start to see some Twitter posts probably in February or March about that.
I love it.
So yeah,
Love it.
And I also got to give a big shout out to Andre at Next Level Games up near the Lawson Heights Mall there.
Yes.
He hooked me up with a couple cool PlayStation 2 games, which are really, really fun.
Good dude. Great people. We absolutely love promoting good people in this city, so I love all that, bro.
Do you have a New Year's resolution?
My New Year's resolution was to not have a resolution.
Okay. Well, okay. Have you kept that so far?
I don't want to put that pressure on me.
Did you quit on your New Year's resolution
yet.
not to have one?
Not
It's still
yet.
going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank God. How about you?
Oh, yeah. My New Year's resolution was to trim up a bit. So I've been hitting the gym, but also I want to do a little bit more video game modding on the Super Nintendo side.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I mean, I've been doing a lot of regular Nintendo stuff, but I want to get more into the Super Nintendo side. And then also, I think it's good for people to know that, I mean, I also do play-by-play for the University of Saskatchewan Huskies, their hockey
sir.
and their basketball. So I'm back at the basketball, men's and women's basketball is back at the U of S, and then men's hockey is going to get going too. And that men's hockey team is looking good. And by the way, there's all this talk about the NCAA now. They can get players from the CHL.
Yeah, I heard all that.
I've heard of all of that. I'm going to tell you right now. The University of Saskatchewan Huskies men's hockey team could absolutely beat NCAA teams. I 100% believe that. There's been guys on that team that have been drafted in the NHL. So I mean, so it's great hockey if you can come out to Merlis Belcher Place and enjoy some U of S Saskatchewan men's hockey and women's hockey.
How do
over the
people
next few
see
weeks.
you when you're doing the play-by-play?
Canada West TV. You can log on to the CW network or Canada West TV, and I encourage people get a pass. Okay. $120 or $130 for the entire season of any sport you want. All the college football, college basketball, college hockey, and by the way, you're helping build the ecosystem because they're starting to put together major network style presentation for some of this stuff. So support the Huskies and continue to watch that. And over the next few weeks, we're gonna be having fun with some video game emulators and some cool stuff in that realm because I think that's fun.
Dude, I missed you. Welcome back.
Oh, I
Happy
missed you
New
too.
Year.
It's good to be back.
So excited.
By the way, I love the little set transformation that over the next few months everybody's going to start to notice.
Yeah.
Things are changing a little bit, but they're morphing, slowly morphing.
It's
So that's
very
really
cool,
neat.
very exciting. I'm so happy that you're a part of this, brother. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Always a pleasure. From
100%.
CTV, Matt Young, he's our guy. Thank you again, dude. Great job.
See you next week.
That'll be such a good time. Again, Matt Young from CTV, one of our favorite guys. I told him I was telling everyone in here in the house today, as we have a live studio audience, that I've been having trouble sleeping the last couple of days, and I told Matt Young, I said, dude, thank you so much, because I was about to pass out before you got here, and your energy lifted me up, and I'm still riding that high. So thank you again to him as he joins us every Thursday as we continue on this Thursday edition of your show. We're going to bring in, hey, look at that, little hint for you about what's to happen. New episodes every Tuesday. This Tuesday, it was up, and if you're like me and tried to watch it for a couple minutes, then said, no, I don't want feelings, they're going to tell you all about it. Well, if you go to it, it's out now. 2 days ago on Tuesday, I have one half of the viewing room beside me now. The other half is about to walk out. Ladies and gentlemen, it is LB and the Dragon.
Wow. I really got to teach the other producers how to do fancy transitions and stuff, because
you're always showing them up. I thought you were doing that on purpose, just so you're always like a little bit, you know. There's people like that out there who train people just enough so they're not better than. And it's not very cool, man. I don't like that.
Make the show look better.
That's right. Hey, you sure your mic level's going to be okay? Did you turn it on? It's not
I
muted?
did turn it on. I turned it on before the show.
My man, just to make sure.
I made that mistake too many times.
That's awesome. I do want to say a very special hello to the live studio audience. One person you saw numerous times. She's been on the show a couple of times. Yep. But her dad is also here. So a big hello to Brooklyn and Jason. Clap. Show respect. There it is.
See you guys.
As we love having people in studio, by the way. If you ever want to come in studio and hang out with us, or if you have any show ideas, or maybe you have a charity that needs a little push, or anything else that needs a voice, we are here for you. Hit us up at... Oh, you didn't do it. Thank you so much.
Well, I can't.
Contact at Dufferin Ave.
hair in my mouth somehow.
.com.
What? That was the most random thing ever.
You're messing up the cell job here, bud.
Got hair.
Email us if you want to hang out. We have a lot of fun here, and it's always so cool, and we're always looking to grow the family. If you don't like emails, that's all good. You can just go to the website. It's just like the email minus the contact at. Very simple. And that's why we love guys like Royal Anders. Which one? Contact at Dufferin Ave. No, I can't do it. I was doing it way too much, man. It was just like, I was even getting annoyed. And when I'm getting annoyed, then it's too much. That's what I've learned. Welcome in, fellas. Huge fan of your show. Tell me a little bit about the newest episode about Up on the viewing room. By the way, the sponsors have noticed, and I'm pretty sure you guys are the biggest view-getting show, so congratulations to that. You're number one.
Yeah, we did really well on our last, not Up, but the one before that. We had almost 1,000 views.
National Lampoon's Christmas
Yeah,
Vacation.
that was a good episode. We performed really well.
Yeah,
you guys made it.
Engagement. You know, my grandma loved it.
That's all that matters right there.
And yeah, it was great. I think when you post a link at church, it helps. It helps spread the word.
Hold on a second. You're posting that show in the church?
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was gonna say that's
That
not
might be
the
a little
best
much,
place,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
We
That
try
would
to
make
keep
sense.
it pretty PG, but you know, there's occasionally a joke or two that isn't.
Very humorous.
Yeah.
Very, very humorous.
PGG is what we call that.
PGG?
Yeah, PG plus.
Oh,
I like
yeah.
that. PG plus.
Is that an extra $5 at Disney or what?
Yeah, it's like a swear jar that we have. yeah.
Well done. Tell us about the movie Up, the latest edition of the viewing room. How'd it go?
You go first.
I did catch the opening of you guys making fun of me, and that was pretty funny. And
made
then I
fun
was
of
like,
you?
oh yeah,
Did I
big
make
time.
fun of you?
No,
Oh,
and
right. Yes, we were saying we were going to put you in a
retirement
nursing home.
Yeah, just like
Yeah,
the
because
old
we were
guy who
talking
floated away in the
about that
balloons.
sort
Yeah.
of theme in the movie, and
It was so funny.
Ethan pulled that out of nowhere. I don't know where that came from.
Right
but-
after that, I was watching TV. I just looked at it. And I was like, "Well done." I said, "I'm not watching anymore."
That's the only person that is the one you're making fun of. That would turn them away. Everybody else thinks it's funny and keeps watching.
Well, it is.
Yeah, no, it's Up is a great movie. It's really, like, I mean, it's something for everybody in that movie. I mean, kids like it because you got your adventure and stuff, and then your adults like it because it's a little more like those mature, like love and loss themes, and it's really just a great, like, family movie for everybody to watch.
Am I
Unless you're Gary.
justified? Well, yeah. Am I justified in my fear of feelings? Is a
Yeah, I
good
mean,
idea to keep away from this? That's what everyone tells me. It's way too loaded with feelings.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly gets you in the feels.
Yeah.
Like it.
I hate that.
Yeah, some people argue that when Pixar makes a film, it's not for the story; it's for the crying
Yeah.
element.
I bet you that's
You know,
true.
it's a competition of how.
Yeah,
much
Toy
can
Story
we
really
cry.
gets you.
Yeah.
Sure. And I think they do a good job of trying to maybe promote that theory.
Yeah.
in having their audience, you know, be a little tearful. And I think this is one of those Pixar films where, you know, the more you watch it, I think the more you kind of appreciate it somehow. and not a lot of we talk about that in the episode. Is you know, no matter what kind of content or media or anything art that you try and create or portray, you know, you're very lucky to have something that comes out like that and is rewatchable and you can revisit and experience new things the older you get. And yeah, I think this is a movie that works for a lot of different people, and whether you are a young child or an 80-year-old man,
Like
It's also really funny too. Like there's a surprising amount of laughs in it. Like the opening 10 minutes is pretty like, you know, gets in the feels, and then after that it's a lot of laughs
Can
too.
you give us a sort of synopsis without giving away the episode, obviously?
You
Is
have
that possible, or is that
written
too
down,
much to ask? I'm putting you on the spot here.
no, I mean I don't have it written down, but I
But
can
just like a
give you
general
I got
idea of
it.
what goes on.
Yeah,
I'll
so
get it.
Carl Fredrickson, he's an old guy.
Sounds like the old guy, yeah.
He's gonna be tasked with moving away
Yeah,
to a
I got it.
nursing home.
I got the official one.
I want to hear his unofficial one.
Okay.
We don't want to hear from the man. I don't know what
yeah, I'll be really
Pixar
quick.
says. Screw that.
Anyways, he doesn't want to go.
I like where your
He's-
head's at, though.
He's obviously is it a widower? Is that yeah. He's alone.
Is that why he's so angry all the time?
yes?
Well, no, he's angry because he's an old man.
Okay.
Well,
that makes sense.
Contributes it.
Could
But
relate to
anyways,
that.
he fills up a bunch of helium balloons and he flies away in his house to go to Paradise Falls, where his wife Ellie and him dreamed of their whole life and never got to go. And he sets out on an adventure, but a kid named Russell tags along and they get caught in a little bit of an
Russell.
escapade. But yeah.
How the hell was he steering his balloon house?
Oh, he had like a steering wheel.
Yeah.
Oh,
He had a
that's-
steering
okay,
wheel,
okay.
and then there was like two ropes that ran outside to the you know, like the little rooster wind
Oh, yeah.
indicator. I don't know what you call it. It's not
There's a
like a
name
wind
for it.
sock, but
Definitely not a windsock.
no.
I'm on this.
But yeah, and like he would like turn the wheel, and then that would turn, and that's how they steered it, or something like that. I can't remember. Oh, and then he had the sails on the side.
Yeah.
They would like bend those, and
As a actual pilot, is this real at all? Is this possible? Can't happen?
no.
So one
Yes,
of
it
those-
is. Yes, it
Oh,
is.
here he goes.
We talked about this. Theoretically, he would need to blow up like 3 million balloons in order to make it happen, but it would take over 3 years, I think, to.
And that was if he
to
was
make it
going
possible.
nonstop.
I have the
And so it
facts
is
here.
impossible because by the time you've been blowing up balloons for a week, the ones you blew up earlier are
They've
now
run out.
deflated.
Yeah.
So
if you've
it's
had
an
help.
impossible
Vicious cycle.
task.
I have an
You've
answer
had
to the
help.
question. It is a weather vane, or it's
Weather
also
vane.
known as a weather cock. Right
Okay.
there. Weather vane or weather cock.
Okay.
Keep rolling, Greg.
Log that one away.
Not
have-
me, that's the internet.
I have the IMDb fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were debating
good
this on the
teaser.
show.
Okay.
Okay. So we can assume he's a professional worker because he is a balloon salesman. And even though he's older, he's been a balloon salesman his whole life, so we'll call him a skilled laborer. Okay?
Yeah.
It takes 9 seconds for a skilled worker to fill and tie off a helium balloon. Okay, it would take 12.5 million balloons to lift a 1,600 square foot house. Now, in order to inflate the necessary number of balloons, Carl would have to spend like every single waking hour not eating, sleeping, stopping for 3.5 years. So
So it's impossible.
Well,
what I
what
said.
if what if
enough
you got
help.
what if you got
You got
a
enough
100,000 Carls?
exactly.
But
But then all of a sudden,
He didn't. He did it in one night by himself.
He's the man.
listen, man, I think you're just a hater, and he had a lot of people at the retirement home willing to help him out to make.
He
his
wasn't
dream
at the
possible.
retirement home.
You'd be surprised. And I
Volunteers.
I believed it.
It's awesome. So obviously everything goes well and we get a nice happy ending and everything's good.
Yes. Very
Nobody
nice
dies?
happening. Nobody dies.
Perfect. That's all I need.
Yeah. No
Love
one
it.
dies.
Nope, that's good.
'Cause
I
it's
don't
a
have to
Pixar
see it
film.
now, so thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Well, we
that.
won't spoil it, but most people have seen Up. You know.
It has. When did it come out?
2009.
Yeah,
I
2009.
think so. Yeah.
People die.
There's a couple people that perish, but not on screen, so it's fine.
Yeah, there's no on-screen deaths.
That works for me. Thursday edition of your show here on the Dufferin Avenue Media Network, our daily 4 to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday flagship show as we promote the entire network here. Again, at the Dufferin Avenue Media Network studios inside the Sotner Concrete Services Clubhouse. Shout out to everybody involved with this, our friends at Deneb, our friends at Aquaman Limited. If you're looking for water monitoring, water supplies, water supplying, or underwater drones, and so much more, they got you all hooked up. Our good friends at Aquaman. So, everyone here has gotten tickets, I presume, right? We've all been in some trouble with tickets, except for maybe one. Maybe one. Unbelievable. I'm just thinking in my head, how long is that going to last? And I sound like, because we're just getting started, I got it all together there. So with that in mind, our good friend Dragon had a situation here. What was it, the other day? Last night. Last night.
So
And something incredible happened. Something so
Lucky
unbelievable
bastard.
that we all didn't know it existed. Take it away, Dragon, co-host of The Viewing Room.
okay, well, last night we went to the Broadway Theater to watch Spaceballs.
Shout
thanks
out.
to Coliseum Presents. Sarah and
Love
Rachel.
A, running the game.
Great event. Lots of people there for Spaceballs. It was great. We'll maybe go into that later, but
We will.
the
We will.
I had parked my car, okay, and I was like, it's this weird. I guess
This
it
is
was
on Broadway?
I think we need this in the Trump voice.
10th Street, whatever, something. 10th Street, I think it was.
I'm with LB here. I think the Trump voice will make this better.
It's whatever. There,
A lot of people park in Broadway.
I had parked my car, and it was after 6, and I was like, "There's no way they'll give me a ticket," because I'd parked illegally. Maybe I was a little bit over the line of like where you're not supposed to park, but like the rule is you have to be 3 feet from the curb. And I was like, it's after 6. I'm like 7, like sorry, like the
Yeah, from the side.
corner
Yeah.
of the sidewalk, whatever.
Yeah.
I was like 7 or 8 feet away, and I was like maybe 3 or 4 inches past the line. I was like, there's no way they're gonna give me a ticket. Ridiculous, right? So I like, whatever. I'm gonna park there. It's gonna be a-okay. I come back to a ticket on my windshield. I'm like, whatever, okay. And it's just a warning ticket. It's just a warning ticket.
I
I didn't even know they existed.
They didn't. I'm
So-
pretty sure it's the first one ever given out in the history
The
of the city.
parking guy or gal must have thought when I pulled in, like the same thing. You know what I mean? They must have thought like, oh yeah, no way we should give this a ticket. It was enough that they gave me a warning, being like, hey, listen, by the way, you were over the line a little bit, but we didn't give you a ticket. And so, not bad enough to give me a ticket, I guess. So
I have no idea if you understand how historical this is.
Mhm.
Like, not only that, you showed us a picture of this ticket, and it's not like they hand wrote down "do not pay." It was a button that they hit for the computer
Yeah.
to stamp it, saying
Like it was
"do
an
not pay."
official warning.
Yeah, like that.
I hope it's official. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be funny if it wasn't. Somebody just a really good forger.
Be a great prank.
Yeah.
A great
Or
prank.
that's how you could scam people. If you like
Oh, Amazon
made-
gift cards required.
no, you made like a fake ticket, and then you made like, you know how you have to go onto a link to pay or
Pay it, yep.
something,
And
and then you just like made the link like legit, but like
Okay,
slightly
stop.
Yeah,
different.
we
We're
know
gonna
we
get
do
one.
not
This is-
we do not endorse that in any way.
No,
We
I'm
are
I'm
a
not
happy
saying you
family.
would, but
Of
I'm just
course,
saying
yes.
that's something you should watch out for.
I did have a buddy who worked for the city, and I came home one day when I lived on 4th Street, and there was a ticket in my mailbox, and it said, like, it was an official city ticket, and it said eviction notice, and it had a bunch of like weird things, and I was like, this doesn't make sense. Why would I get an eviction notice for a house that we own and have it put in the mailbox without an envelope or anything? That was just hanging out. It's like, this is the dumbest thing. So it took me, I made a bunch of phone calls, and everyone's like, we don't know what you're talking about. Like, what's wrong with you? And it took me about 2 days. Then my buddy let me know. He's like, oh yeah, I did that. Pretty funny, right? Like, no, you're like rude 2 days. I thought I had some sort of issues with the house. So the point being that there's a lot of power and responsibility that comes with those tickets. You
Yes.
can't just be willy-nilly with them.
No.
Unlike the Wing King. Sorry, just had to get that out there.
no,
That's not his real name.
And so my parents were surprised. I was surprised.
Yeah.
I kind of was just like, all right, I guess I'll take the ticket. Not going to waste my time to fight this because I am over the line. I just figured that, like, you know what I mean? I figured it was so close and I was still so far away from the corner of the sidewalk that there's
Clearly
no
they
way
felt
they
that
would
too.
give me a
They
ticket.
felt that too.
And then I guess it was just a warning. I like got in my car and I was ready. I was like literally pulling my phone out to get ready to how to pay this thing. And I looked at it and it's like, don't pay. And I'm like, oh, what a beautiful day it is for me.
Man, that's your karma kicking in again, buddy. That's with your always happy-go-lucky attitude and always believing the best in people. That's how it comes back to you.
Well, I was thinking of being rich. I got my GST check yesterday in the
Yeah.
mail finally. And I was like, imagine that, like the day I get my tax, like
Take it right
whatever
back.
rebate, I am
Yeah.
immediately giving it back to the city. But you know what? Just
Actually, parking
Pay
tickets
attention.
aren't that bad. Like they're
it was
like,
40 or
30,
50
35 bucks, I think was my
There's-
last
yeah.
one.
Yeah. I've never
There's-
had a ticket.
There's different, like there's
So-
tow zones
Yeah.
and like there's all.
There's
that's a good
different
point.
ones,
A bunch
yeah.
of different tickets they can give.
Yeah, and imagine it's like worse if you do it in front of a fire hydrant or something. I don't know, or they tell
Yeah.
you, but
I
Yeah.
did like the idea of that we talked about earlier about how it wasn't within a designated time. It was like an area where you can never park. And so with that in mind, with you just being barely there, it's like, okay, here's a good learning opportunity. We'll let this guy know to pay more
Because that's
attention.
what we were like, well, it was after 6 o'clock that the ticket was given. We're like, well, you don't have to pay after 6. But yeah, it wasn't. They're obviously still out patrolling where you're parking, not if you're paying. Yeah.
If my car, hypothetically, is 11/12ths of the way into the area I can park, does that mean I only pay a 12th of the ticket cost?
I think that'd be a fun one to present before a judge.
Because also, if my wheels and gas cap and many more are still in the parking zone, if all sets of wheels are in the parking zone, like, you know what I mean?
You're paying a full ticket,
yeah.
Sort of bring fractions. That's what the world needs, more fractions. Bring more math into it. People love that.
It was about 17/18ths of the way into the
Yuck.
zone.
Yeah, just the parking person out there with their tape measure. Like,
Oh, I've seen that before. Oh yeah, like especially it's everywhere.
Man,
For sure.
the meter people. There's been, like you said, numerous times where they just sit there and wait. They're counting down seconds, and then you spot them and you go and say, "Hey, that's my car. I'm just leaving. Sorry, sir, too late."
I remember one time I was at a hospital for an appointment. No, I was visiting my grandpa at the hospital, and I'm like, I don't need to pay. Like I can get away with it, right? Like, I'm just in a hurry, whatever. So I went, and as I'm coming out of the doors,
This is it. That's what I'm talking about.
I can see the person making their way down the aisle, and they're getting
You know what's
closer and
coming.
closer.
You know
And
what's
I
coming.
started hoofing it towards the truck, and I make it to the truck, and I'm pulling out just as they're getting to the vehicle right beside me. I'm like,
Hell
man,
yeah,
if I
dude.
had
Hell
stayed,
yeah.
a minute longer in there, I would have, or if the
Man.
elevator didn't take,
The hospital is where a lot of that goes down. I've
Yeah.
been going to City Hospital here, visiting the Seahawk, my sweet, beautiful prince, who's going to be hopefully getting out at the end of January. So hopefully by the start of February, we'll have him right in here, working right there. It's going to be fantastic. Get some action back in his life as he's been bored out of his. He told me for entertainment the other day, he went downstairs and got a bag of chips.
Yes.
That's what this guy's doing. I'm like, oh, we got to get you out of there. So I'm parking at City Hospital, and I get out and I start walking to the door to go inside. And once you get in, they have those stations where you just pay for an hour with your card or whatever. And so as I'm walking, I got a dirty look from one of the parking people. She didn't see that I parked there. I was coming around this corner, and she was over here. So I walk around the corner, and she looks at me, and I looked her dead in the eye. I said, just so you know, I just parked. I'm going to pay right now. Please don't give me a ticket. And never joke with meter people. That's what I learned. Just like straight face, like, okay. Like, dude, like this place is already so depressing. Why do you got to be depressing too? Like, let's have a little fun here somewhere, right?
Well, the last one that I got, I pulled up and I parked, and the meter was right there, and I hadn't paid this was one of the Fireside shows, right?
Oh, here we go.
And so I hadn't
Start
paid the
Fireside.
last 2 days, and I'd been fine. I'm like, third time's the charm. It's not gonna happen. And there was a guy there fixing the machine, and I'm like, I wonder if he has the authority to give tickets. So like, I pulled up, I park, I get out, I look at him, I wave, and then I go in, and I'm
Please
like,
tell me you didn't get one.
I got a ticket, and I don't know if it was from him or not.
I hope so. What a great story for that
Can you
guy.
just
hey?
imagine though, right? Like,
So I was sitting there fixing the meter, and all of a sudden this jackass looks at me and gives me a wave whilst not plugging the meter. The best ticket I ever gave.
Yeah,
there.
right.
That's his story. He's so proud.
He's actually on a rival show talking about it
Right,
right
yeah,
now.
right.
yeah.
Two sides to every story.
Yeah.
They're live at 5 a.m. Australian time. And he's actually telling them right now. He's like, oh, yeah, I messed him over real. That's not Australian. I know
That
how
was
to
a
do Australian.
like over Canadian accent.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, good
yeah,
day,
eh?
mate. And I looked
Oh,
him
eh,
right in the eyes, man. And I gave him the bloodiest ticket I could give him.
It's like Irish or something.
Yeah, I could do it Scottish too if you want.
Prove it.
Trump.
Oh no,
Trump.
no. What's
Trump.
what's the
Trump.
Scottish?
Trump. 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 Trump.
It's not-
Trump.
No, I
Trump.
think I'm sending across the wrong message here. I think by chanting Trump.
Wow.
Impression. There.
What a dirty man. He looked me right in the eyes and he said, wow. He waved at me and I said, I'm the one who waves. And I gave him a massive ticket, one of the biggest tickets actually. It was $55. Wow. A big 55, one of the big fives. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
Is that the first time you've done that on air? We've always tried to get you to do it.
Oh,
but
it's
never
been on
done
the
it.
viewing room a few
Yeah,
times.
that's
We've done
for
it.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
the point.
It needs work, but
It doesn't need any worse. Bro.
It's,
You're
it's a lot
basically-
better than anyone else.
You're basically Canada's Shane Gillis, bro. Well done.
yeah. I'm just impersonating Shane Gillis.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's how you get out of it.
Yeah.
If anyone bugs you, but it's like, it's not mine. It's like that Norm Macdonald joke I keep telling everyone about.
Yeah.
When he walks in and does one of the late night shows. It's like, oh man, you won't believe it. I just heard the most horrifying, disgusting, horrible story from the cabbie on the way over here. And then the whole crowd's like, oh, they start cheering. He's like, no. Like, I can't tell you this story on the air. It's horrifying. Like, it's the worst story you will ever hear in your life. There's no way I'm saying it on the air. And then the crowd just gets more into it and more into it. And then he's looking. I think it was Conan. And he looks at Conan. He's like, no, Conan, I can't tell this story. He's like, well, you have to now. You've been talking about it too much. Like, no, I won't do it. And then they keep hassling him until he finally does it. And so he goes into this brutal, disgusting, horrible joke. And about every 30 seconds, when the crowd keeps going like, oh, as he's telling it, he's like, it wasn't me. I'm quoting the taxi. I didn't say this. This is not me. I'm impersonating the taxi driver that said this stuff. That was his way of getting out of the trouble that comes with saying the horrible shit. It's genius stuff. The great Norm Macdonald, one of the best in the history of this world at what he did.
You were saying that you got the ticket at the Fireside Show, and do you recall the parking that we got at the Fireside Show?
Are you talking about the greatest parking spot in the history?
I
All
guarantee
the
you I got
universes
better.
aligned. I don't think so.
No,
Because
We'll
I have
try.
to get there for sound checks like way earlier than everybody else. So
Well, you can
we
say
got
that.
the parking spot, the first parking spot, right beside the disabled person parking stall at the side of the building. We got the first parking stall
That you can
that I parallel
legally
parked
park.
into.
And first try, by
First
the way.
try
Yeah.
parallel park, best parallel park of my
Crushed it.
life.
It
First
was
time with my new
incredible.
car.
does your new vehicle have automatic parallel
No,
parking?
no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
All by hand.
Did it. Crazy.
Not only
I
that.
mean, we practically
Like a long auditorium
hog
there?
Yeah, they
Like
go
that
down
back
that
way,
street.
yeah.
We got the
Literally.
That's exactly where I
first
was parked too.
There's
But
the very first
not in front
parking
of us.
spot you can
Legally park.
Like you can get without having
Yeah.
one of those.
We were 20 steps
wheelchair
from the
things.
door.
And I like.
Okay, well, I was still closer though because I go in the stage
Always
door, which is at the
one-upping, right?
back.
That's all he does.
So I was like right beside the bins.
No.
All
So,
right.
Yep.
I'm not going to argue.
Yep.
doesn't
It was your
count if you were there
performance.
3 hours early because you didn't have to parallel park.
I was there more than 3 hours early.
Well, that's not helping your point, buddy.
Yeah, were you plugging your meter the whole time?
Nope.
Oh,
Yeah, this is.
apparently parking meters are a little bit lacking nowadays. Giving away warnings and not giving this guy anything.
Yeah, can the city tell how much you've paid in parking?
Oh, yeah.
Because maybe they can tell like oh this guy
A repeat
hasn't been
offender?
skipped.
Yes.
No, for me because
Oh,
like
cool.
I haven't skipped out on like wait, hold on a second, this guy
Well,
actually
but it,
pays for parking.
it depends
this
how much
afternoon.
it depends how much like they can't tell when you parked somewhere unless you get caught, right? So if I park somewhere and don't pay 100 times,
Interesting.
but they only see that I've paid, twice, but they don't know that I've been there that 100 times because they didn't catch me. So
That's it.
it's not saying that I do that. Obviously.
Never, ever, 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 ever.
I would never do that.
No. So last night there was another showing again, thanks to our good buddies over at Coliseum Presents Spaceballs, a movie that basically sort of set all those Mel Brooks movies, man, like Blazing Saddles all the way through, like just you couldn't hit a target harder than that dude did. And Spaceballs, the classic spoof on the Star Wars, and man, oh man, such a great movie. So many memorable, incredible characters. Some say that John Candy's rendition of the character Barf was so good that people thought Barf was an actual human being and didn't know that John Candy was that actor. Can you confirm that, Dragon?
Yeah, well, until the credits rolled last night, I was not sure that was John Candy. I had no idea. I wasn't thinking about it, and I was surprised that it was John Candy. And you guys are very upset at me, but I just think I don't see what's super wrong about it. I love John Candy. I
It
think
wouldn't be
he's-
upsetting if you didn't already know about The Great Outdoors, Uncle Buck.
Yeah, but
and
I've
everything else that you
watched
did.
The Great Outdoors. I've watched
Exactly.
Uncle
That's
Buck,
what makes it more upsetting.
and I just think that it's a good testament to the makeup and art design of
He looks like
Spaceballs.
John Candy with the
Yeah,
circle and the dog
he
suit.
looked like John Candy.
I didn't
If
think he
you've
looked
seen
like.
John Candy, you know who it is.
I don't know. When did Uncle Buck come out? The 90s? Early 90s?
Oh, there was a run there.
I don't know. Like he
Yeah, around
probably like I don't know. I was probably watching all the movies that John Candy made 8 years later. You know what I mean? So maybe he looked younger, John Candy.
He's still iconic. I mean, like, John Candy's John Candy.
Yeah, but whatever. I apologize.
You should.
Yeah, your lack of the
John Candy trivia.
No, I was going to say the Schwartz, but that too.
Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh,
Either
yeah.
way.
I wanted to talk about something quickly.
Lay it on.
Bring it on the show. Okay. What do you think the budget was for Spaceballs?
Oh, what a great
If we had to guess, it's an 80s movie.
Do we already know
It's
when
like
it
one of
came?
those
Do we know when
SNL
it came out?
87.
87.
80s, like kind of like, I'm not, sorry, I said SNL. It's not like an SNL movie, but like, you know, it's that spoofy style, whatever.
Yeah, parody movies.
Sure.
I'm gonna go with 8 million.
Yes. Okay.
That
that's
seems pretty
that's what
darn
I
good.
thought 7.
I was going to say 11. Just because there's some big names in there.
Okay.
Shout out to
so
Rick Moranis.
At a $22.7 million budget.
There we go.
Crazy, ridiculous, right? Now, how much was the budget for A New Hope in 1977? So this is like the main movie it's parodying 10 years prior. What do you think the budget was for A New Hope? Actual Star Wars.
3
Like
million. 3 million.
revolutionary.
It's got to be something like, just Price is Right. I'm going to say 4 million.
Okay, it was 11 million for Star Wars, like the first Star Wars movie, but that's still double. The parody has double the budget. Now you can compare it to Return of the Jedi, which was like the most recently released one at 83, for $30 million. But still, man, or $32 million, whatever. Like that's still quite impressive, right? Like,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
for a spoof movie, especially since Lucasfilm provided so many
Yeah.
effects to this movie because George Lucas was actually into it, which
Yeah.
is probably the most surprising fact that I have in my arsenal.
I think that's
but-
why it is so good.
No,
Is because
absolutely.
when you have it's like when you adapt a book to a movie. If you don't have the actual author involved, 9 times out of 10 it's not very good.
Or video games to movies.
That too,
Like
yeah.
Borderlands, man. Ooh, I still haven't even had a thought about watching that movie the second I saw the idea behind it and the and the actors that they brought in. It's like, this is never going to be like the real Borderlands. That's why I bought them so hard. People don't get it. If you're not fluent in what you're trying to sort of apply, then you're going to be screwed.
Well, I think there's a big thing with actors too. Why some actors are so desirable. You know, I'd say like let's talk recent years. Henry Cavill, right?
Superman.
His love for Superman
Witcher.
or The Witcher
Oh,
or Warhammer, right? He's a very desirable actor to someone trying to make money because they know he's going to attract a lot of fans and he's going to try and be a pain in the ass to the writers, but he's going to try and be close to the source material.
That's why The Witcher is so good. Is because he was a fan of the books and the games. Like he played those games, he
absolutely.
read the books. He was a
Yes.
huge fan, and he pushed for that project too. I mean, it's just it makes such a huge difference.
It's a testament, right? And I think part of the reason why maybe Borderlands might not have had some of the same success, and I'm speculating, but trying to use examples, is I don't think, and I love Jamie Lee Curtis, but I don't think Jamie Lee Curtis or Kevin Hart were putting in the Henry Cavill levels
No,
of research.
They had no idea
and-
what
and
the game
effort
even
into
was.
Borderlands. No.
Could you
So-
imagine Jamie Lee Curtis playing Borderlands?
No, right. So could I imagine Superman playing Warhammer?
Yes.
Probably not.
I
But
could.
but Henry Cavill
Oh, I
does,
see
right?
what you're
And so I
saying.
think
Yeah.
He's
I
a
think-
huge nerd.
I think that's why some actors can go above and beyond in certain aspects.
Yeah.
It's different for absolutely everyone. I'm just saying in this case, maybe
Yep.
that's kind of how I look at it in a bit, if that makes sense. Not to make it black and white, but
Another good one's
That's where-
Deadpool. I
that's
mean,
where I
Ryan Reynolds
Oh,
loved
yeah.
Deadpool. He pushed for that. He
Sure.
wanted
Well,
that.
he wanted to redeem himself from the previous Deadpool.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
more than
he-
anything.
He wanted to do it so
or
badly.
Green Lantern.
Green
maybe.
Lantern was really what he wanted
As
for
well,
himself.
yes.
So yeah.
Touche.
So
But that Deadpool, like the OG one, didn't talk. They had like the mouth one shut or whatever. And ugh, not cool, bro.
Yeah.
Not cool at all.
Yeah, but thank you, Coliseum Presents
Yes.
for Spaceballs last night. It was fantastic. You know, when you ask people about Spaceballs, you kind of get a collective, oh, but from a lot of the
Was
people I
that
talked
a
to-
happy boy or a sad?
Yeah.
That was sort of in
There was
between
there was
there.
a bit of like
Yeah.
a bit of remorseful,
Yeah.
but I didn't feel that way at all. I enjoyed it, and maybe there was some
fantastic
moments,
movie.
but yeah, this is really what cinema was made for. I think like a rival
Yep.
Citizen Kane and
Yeah.
and Nosferatu in the box office, but yeah,
Dude,
100% agree.
Like just when you look at the characters, like Piece of the Hut, like there's so many unbelievably funny things.
ate
in-
himself to death in his car. That's crazy.
and like all of those sort of ideas where you bring on these characters and then there's like double entendres with everything and it adds to the parody and gives like a wink and a nudge to other things, and it's just always so creative. And like the fourth wall being broken all the time,
Yeah.
like all these things that people weren't used to, like
And taking everything literally too.
Yes,
Like
literal humor.
jamming the radar, and they
Yeah,
just throw actual
jam it.
jam on it, like
Yeah.
things like
Yes.
that, you know.
And that goes back to these spoof movies like Airplane,
Yeah.
and like all the Naked Guns and all these like Spy Hard. I love that.
Very,
humor
very
so
much
Naked Gun.
much.
My favorite
So much.
scene from Naked Gun is the one where he pulls up to the the courthouse or the police station or something. You know, hits all the garbage cans, and the airbag goes off. He gets out, goes running in, and then the airbag puts the vehicle into drive or reverse or neutral or something. It starts like rolling back down the hill, and he's like, "Somebody steal my car!" And he starts shooting at it, and then it explodes.
It's a literal car chase with no one driving it. It's just
Yeah.
rolling. Oh, see, that's the
Did
genius.
somebody get a look at the driver?
It's just an airbag.
So good.
So, I can't do enough. Like Spy Hard, one of my favorite of all time, and it was it was basically like a rip, or not a rip, like a parody on the movie with Han Solo's in it, and the One-Leg Man. Anyone remember what that was called?
Harrison Ford?
Yeah, and Tommy Lee Jones is
Not
the
Blade Runner.
No.
What's
Oh,
that
that's gonna
movie?
bug me now, you guys. Oh, remember, it wasn't me. It was the One-Armed Man, and it was and then U.S. Marshals. The Fugitive. Thank you. I knew it. Yes, The Fugitive. And so the whole movie's based around Leslie Nielsen doing his thing, and they have an homage to The Usual Suspects, where the dude is
Kaiser
just
Soze.
and he's like answering questions by using all of the information behind him. So they're in this fishing store, and Leslie Nielsen's doing the same thing, but instead of going like really like intricate, incredible directing and acting, he's just reading off like different fishing lines. He's like, "Oh yeah, I met her over at the Rapella." And it's like it shows the Rapella like fishing hook, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have to go. I have a meeting at the men's room." And he goes to the bath, like just these little things that just it almost to me feels like it takes more work to do a parody of a genre or another movie, because I know the original idea is there, but you have to make it your own and make it entertaining in a different way.
A successful parody, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a key, being a good one.
Yeah,
And that's such a hard line to walk, and I just feel like all those movies just nailed it.
for sure.
I'm out of breath. I got too excited there.
Yeah, no, I do like the airplane comparison, because that's probably one of the
So good.
the most
The
memorable.
shit hitting the
spoof-
fan, and the literal piece of
movies.
shit hits the fan. Like you can't make that stuff up. It's genius.
And it would be unfair just to call it a Star Wars parody too. Like,
Oh,
you
yeah,
could
there's so
talk
much more
about
to it.
Star
Yeah.
Trek amongst
Yeah.
other sci-fi and various pop culture things. But yeah, I think obviously we're mainly talking about Star Wars, and that's where the plot's really going from.
I can't stress this enough, man. Shout out to Aaron and the team at Coliseum Presents. Like, without those guys, like, think about how much fun you guys are having there.
Yeah.
Right? And, like, you guys are getting recognized there now. You're, like, the local movie guys. Like, we always talk about how this whole place is, like, a Wayne's World meets, like, Johnny Carson or whatever, like, crossover stuff. But the more we grow and the more this keeps happening, like, the Wayne's World aspect of it, being that local, like you're the local movie review show. Like that's so cool. And people now know that about you, including that guy who just walked in, who saw you at the Wayne's World screening.
Yes.
He was the guy that I told to do a really nasty, hilarious trick that I can't say on the air, and he wouldn't do it. It involved the popcorn box. That's all I'm going to say. And it was really funny, and he wouldn't do it. I said, you guys would have loved it.
And we're all better for it.
That's true. Very, very true. Yes, Margaret, we'll get to Slice by Slice right away. Just relax.
Yeah, even Maggie wants that pizza.
Yeah, she knows what's
Yeah,
going
I'm
on.
curious to see what they brought, because I'm hungry.
There we go. Yeah, in case you don't know, we are filming a brand new episode of Slice by Slice with Asher right after this recording. As should I try doing a solo play out, you guys? What do you think?
Do it.
All right, I'm gonna do it.
I think you can. I think you can
See
do
how
it.
it goes. I did it before, but I messed it up on the back end. Again, head engineer. He's always creating new cool things, and he's got this set up. Margaret,
Do you want
right
me
away.
to go hit
I got it.
buttons?
I got it. Oh, don't go with more keys. That one. I got you. One more. That one. No, other one up top.
There you go.
All right, here we go. You ready?
We're playing out.
Well, not yet.
Oh.
We are
There you go.
now we're going. Yes.
And then
I know. Oh yeah, for the mic off fade.
Fade.
Gotcha.
You getting
Well
ready
done.
To play out? You're not
No.
playing out?
He's a curmudgeon. He doesn't like pianists. He's around them
am
too
a
often.
pianist.
He says, "Yeah, exactly." He's a self-hating pianist. Not cool, man. Appreciate your talents.
Thank you for today.
Thank you to everybody today, man. This has been such an incredible. So here's how the day started. Brooksy was by here. We did some videos that'll be up soon for you to enjoy, promoting all the cool new stuff we got going on in this studio. And then my author, man, John Fast came in. We did another chapter from his book that's coming out as we continue recording audio books, which is like the coolest thing in the world, in our amazing tooth booth. And then LB showed up, and then Dragon showed up, and then Brooklyn and Jason. We had all this awesomeness, and now we got my buddy Lame Train and Asher in here. Things keep getting better. And so thank you to everybody who showed up today. As well, I forgot to mention yesterday, it was my Auntie Susie's birthday, January 8th. And I gave her a very special happy birthday after she called me yesterday to tell me that I had to bring her presents. And I said, Auntie Susie, that's not how we do things, bro. You don't tell people to bring you presents. You should be lucky if you get one. She's like, well, no, you got to bring presents. Auntie Susie, no. And I went back and forth for about 2 or 3 minutes, but I told her she'll be lucky if she gets anything when I get to the birthday supper here in about a half hour from now. So happy birthday to Auntie Susie.
Happy birthday to you.
I think 67, I think. She's getting up there. So she's got all sorts of food ready to go, and we're going to celebrate. Hey,
It's so weird doing it by myself. I
force
look,
him to do nothing,
I look
all right?
like crazy. Play the piano.
No means no, Ethan.
We'll be back tomorrow with another really fun roundtable. I think it's going to be a CCO roundtable again, which is always exhilarating as you get two polar opposites in Network Ryan and Uncle Brando, and it's always a lot of fun. So until that time, be sure to have yourself the most amazing Thursday of your life, and thank you always for hanging out and being a part of this amazing movement that we started here in this magical studio. It means the world to all of us, and we continue to grow and we continue to spread the love, and that's what it's all about. So remember, karma, the realest thing in the world, all right? Do good things, they will happen to you, I promise you. That's how we get places like this. Let's keep rolling on that momentum, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night.